Hi everyone, my name is Thomas. I'm your Notion and Lark consultant. So last week I hosted my first ever Lark Malaysia workshop at GD Exchange. So really appreciate them for giving us a space. So here are just some pictures that I can show you. So you can see that me standing there. But yeah, so throughout the session, so there are a lot of questions, like a lot of different use cases. People were interested about learning about Lark Base and then especially on automation. So one question I got was, how can you create round robin system inside Lark? So it got me thinking how to build it. So we now have 3 tables setting for this round robin demo. So first of all, you have a table for employee. So here I have employee names, their roles, who they are, and also a timestamp. So this is very important to kind of sort out who gets assigned the job first. So the basic logic is just that the first one gets assigned, then it will jump to the next one, and then jump to the next one, and then kind of go back. So for Lark itself, they have a sorting function, which we will be utilizing that. And this is where our actual CRM. So it's very simple here. We have a client here and then job type, and then automatically assign the person. So for this demo, I'll just use the buttons, but in actual, you can just set it when every time there's a new job comes in, you can automatically assign the person. So this will be a 2-part series. So the first part I'm going to show you just based on one condition. So based on one job type, right? And then the second video, I'll show you multiple conditions. So that'll be a bit more complex, but I believe the logic fundamentals is the same. So without further ado, I'm going to show you now, right? So first client belongs to Notion. I'm going to just click it, right? So automatically going to assign to a person here. So in this case, it's assigned to Lily. You can kind of see from here as well. So Lily is at the bottom now because she has been assigned because I have sorting out the timestamp. And next will be Thomas. So I'm going to go to click here. And then you assign to Thomas. And then click the next one. You assign to Chiming. And then you click again. You go to Lily. And last one, since Lark only belongs to Chiming, I'm going to press it right. So Chiming should receive it. So yeah. So there are some caveats in that there will be a downtime between 1 second. So if I click all the buttons at the same time, right? So I believe it wouldn't trigger exactly because we are using the timestamp to do it. You can see all of them become Thomas. Yeah, some of them, they might change. But in general, like the trigger is just between 1 second. So but in real world case, I don't think there should be a problem. If you have about the initial things, you just have to set it up one time so that you don't encounter this issue. Because the end of the day is capturing just based on the dates. You can see here's the year, month, dates, time. I think this is this hour, minutes, and then seconds. So we're just using the seconds to sort it out. Yeah. So in this case, there's this job here, basically just a table for me to kind of reference the role here. So I don't kind of repeat myself, but that's it. So let's go into the actual automation, right? So for this automation workflow here, it's relatively simple based on what Lark can offers. So the first thing is just you have a button trigger. So basically when we press the button, it will trigger a multi-branch automation here. So based on a multi-branch, we'll select, for me, I have 3 conditions, Notion, Lark, and SEO. So in my use case, I think I only have Notion and Lark, but it's fine. But essentially, once you learn the first path, right, then you know how to build the second and third. So the first thing we want to find is just make sure that we find the employee records. So select the table here. We want to make sure we're selecting the employee, and we want to find the records that match the filters. So in this case, we just want to make sure that we find any employees that matches Notion in this case. So there's one very important thing. Make sure that you select the role and then use something called contain. So instead of is. So if it is, what I encounter the problem is that when you have someone like Thomas and Chiming have multiple roles, right? So it won't pick up because it will only pick up Lily since it is. So important to use the contain. So once you contain, so we don't have multiple conditions. So we're going to select the field person. So you want just to get the person name, right? And then we want to get the timestamp. So this is very important. So this is where we get the sorting rules, sort by timestamp itself. So how do you get these timestamps? So you get to know later. But in this case, we go to A to Z, and then automatically we just sort it out for you. And then we just go, when there's no record, just stop so we don't trigger anything further. And then once you found the person, right, then you go to the update the record. You go to the CRM table. In this case, we go to the CRM table here, right? We select the record from the first one. So you start trying to understand which record we are trying to update. So you just select based on the first one here. And then select the person. So the person, which one you update. So based on what we found on step 3 here, which is the find records, the first record found. So in this case, you just click inside here, select reference, select find records, and then you select the first record found. So there's possible to have multiples, but so we want the first one. Since we already sorted it out, that's why we always get the first one. So once we have that, we just update the timestamp here. So in this case, you select back the employee timetable, the first record found in step 3. So basically we found back this record here, right? We update the timestamp here. So basically this timestamp is text. So I tried using numbers, it doesn't quite work. I think text is what is the best format. So basically we are just using a formula here. We're capturing the now time, right? So the time right now, and then we want the year, month, date, hour, minutes, and seconds. So you might be asking, why am I using text instead of dates? So I noticed in Lark itself, they don't capture date until seconds. I'm not sure, maybe they don't expose it, but in terms of UI perspective, I can't really see it. So I'm using text in this case, which works fine as well. So the idea is that once we updated it, right, we just want to make sure that, I'm going to discard any changes, make sure that it comes back here and update the timestamp again. So let's say I just kind of use 1, 2, 3, right? It's kind of the same logic here. So in this case, Thomas will be the one to be assigned the job, right? So let's say just go remove here and click 1, right? Then you can see Thomas is being assigned, and automatically Thomas has a number here. So the second person would be Qiming here. So I'm going to go here, click it, then Qiming should be assigned here. And then the third person will be Lily. And then Lily. Oh, you can see that I click a little bit too fast, so it becomes Qiming again. So if I click again, it should be Lily. Oh no, because this is Lark. Okay, that's why. Yeah, so that's kind of how it works. For part 2, I'll probably just kind of improve the code, right? But essentially, this is where you can build it. It's fairly straightforward how you can create this just based on a button trigger. So even how you can do this, right? It's just create this Lark base and then add on the tables here. So you can use buttons for now. And then once it's done, right? Let's say I don't want the button. I just click here. I can just select this, change node type, and when a record is updated or added, then automatically will trigger it. Yeah. So that's it. So let me know if you find this video helpful. If you find it helpful, stay tuned for part 2. Thank you.